Good morning, good people. It's Tuesday. I went shopping this morning for some gardening stuff at my local Edeka, and so I feel like it's Wednesday because I normally only shop on a Wednesday. But I broke my own rules today because I just can't possibly manage everything tomorrow. So I'm going to have to go shopping to the hardware store, namely Bauhaus, to get some canvases for my Thursday and Friday editions of my Facebook Lives. Because, and why can't I see myself? I can see myself on my little screen. Why can't I see? There. Oh, the delay is bad today. Hi, Ami. How's the coffee queen? Hi, Approver. Hi, Janine. Janina. Andrew. Oh, as I always say, I'm dyslexic at the best of times, so English names are hard enough. If I'm massacring your name, please just excuse me. Hello, everybody, and welcome. So today I am continuing with a cover that I started on a YouTube live, which is on my YouTube channel. Last Saturday. It's still blank inside. I'm not bothering about that today. And here is the one that I finished. And yesterday I did the inside pages. And I'm just going to flip through them quickly and finish them off. So, oops, this tag needs to go back into its slot. Try to keep a theme, a steampunk theme going. And yeah, I'm not sure where this photo mat comes from. I'll deal with that later. But so I've already got an album that looks like this, and I thought I would reuse or use some of the things that I created on the YouTube live so that I don't waste anything. And so I'm carrying on with this. For those of you who weren't or haven't been on any of my previous Facebook Lives, these folders started off as giant A4 paper folders, like this, and they were cardboard, and I chopped them down. So if you don't have a guillotine, which is what I use, you can use a craft knife. Morning, Karen. And so, hi Kay, hi Angela. So today, as I said, I'm not really going to bother about the inside. I want to get the outside all pretty, which is probably not logical as I'm going to be putting all these lumpy bumpy things on, and I probably should paint the inside, but I'll deal with that off camera in my own time. So excuse the building drilling. I have to say that every day they have been going at it in stereo today, and from now, in fact, my water will be turned off while they fix the ongoing water issue. I'm hoping this is the end of it. It's been 2 and a bit weeks now. I'm just thinking to myself, I need something to prop this up so it's flat, because of course I can't take this out. When you work with Tim's worn covers, you put the you attach the grips and inside at the end, so of course your cover can be flat. At this stage, yeah, I'm just going to have to do what my family calls a MacGyver job. So just give me a second. I'm just going to grab some books to prop that up. I have some old books that I have bought at second-hand shops. There we go. And that I keep intentionally to rip the pages out. So that's great. That's now a nice foam surface. And I have used, I kept it out. I have used the Troll Factory resin. It's the 2-minute resin. So you have to look here. It says resin 2 minutes. This is the fast setting resin. It is the cream. And I have used it in my Stamperia mold, which I purchased at Mitliebe. Mitliebe is now running an online store, so if any of you are needing anything, please contact them. I did see in today's post that they have just got in all these wonderful metallics from Stamperia. They are on Mitliebe's Facebook page. I saw they had white and all sorts of other glorious colors. So if you need anything, I know that they have just got stock. So, and when lockdown happened, I know she still had a few of these molds. You can use the resin in these molds. However, they are designed for using clay. And I purchased this dew and dry clay from Mitliebe as well. And it's wonderful, quick-ish drying, but it's not so sticky and messy in your mold that when you try and pull it out, it deforms. And also what I have found is that when I'm wanting to work around a curved surface, I prefer to work with the clay because you can mold it onto your surface straight away. But for today's purpose, I've used the resin in my mold. You do need to prop your mold up because the heights of these things are all a bit different. So if it sits at an angle, obviously your resin wants to run out. So that's just something to remember. I'm just putting that out of the way so I've got a bit more space on my desk because I have shrinking desk issues today. Okay, morning Michael. Thanks for popping in. Susie. Sapna, Dorothy. Nice to see so many people this morning. Thanks for popping in. So I'm going to work, I think, with some of Finn's matte waxes today. I have pre-gessoed these guys with the clear gesso. Some of the things that I think I might use, just so that the object has more tooth, because when it comes out of the mold, it is very, very slippery and shiny if you're wanting to use these matte waxes. So again, I have no real idea. I have a theme. That's kind of as far as I've got today. Much like yesterday, you're going to see how my brain thinks and play the what if game. Today I've got water, not coffee. Yeah, so I'm gonna pop that back where I need it. I hope I stay in camera because of course by the time I can see myself on my iPad screen, I've been off camera for a while. So the other thing I wanted to show you guys, people keep asking, I bought these DIY kiddie straws and I pushed them into some clay and I created a mold, and so I've got some flat backed ones for when I want to put them on a project like this. So that's where I got these from. These are an icing mold which I got online. They're also pipes. They're a lot more chunky. And what I've also started doing is recycling packaging that I purchase things in so that I have got my stuff to hand and I don't have to scratch in this scratch patch because I'm not really a scratch patch kind of girl. I ran out of packets, so I'm using a paper packet. Those are stars and moons, so I probably won't need those. So okay, what else have I got? I have got some, and these are gorgeous. These are quite heavy, but they are really beautiful. These are Mitform Castings from Poland, and you can either use them on their own or those two work together. I've got some, in fact I bought 4 with the idea of making a full-on circle for something. It's too big for this project, but I really rather like that idea. You don't of course have to use them all. You can just use a piece of one, and I have, so today I'll be shopping my stash. I have some more Mitform casting here. Unfortunately, I don't have any of their latest release, which is all sea themed and would go really well with my current project, but life is what it is and we carry on with what we have. So if I put, so quite a few of my books have got the clocks on the front. I'm thinking this time I'm going to put my clock on the back. And let me look, where's 12? Easiest is to find one. There's 12. Put 12 at the top. It doesn't have to be at the top. There's no reason why. This is art. It's not a real clock. I'm not trying to tell the time. So I am going to probably put my clock on the back for a change of scenery, and so I'm going to keep my back fairly flat and make my front quite raised. And I think I will have a knob over here to open it, and for that I'm going to use one of Tim's knobs. I like that idea because Antonius designed this underwater mechanical thing with a lot of pipes and so on. So I'm gonna kind of keep to that theme. And what I have also prepared on the side here is Tim Holtz's Bigs die. It is called Pipeline, and I have cut it out of that foam, you know, the children's foam. I call it children's foam, craft foam, whatever you want to call it. I happen to be working with black. You can work with any color you like. And I do find that if I'm going to use the waxes on this foam, it is preferable to gesso it, or give it some sort of tooth. You can either use acrylic paint. I've used chalkboard paint on it before, just so that the paint sticks to the surface. Right, I've popped everything out of that. The other thing I need to remember is I usually like to have some sort of tie down system. And before I left South Africa, I did have a whole lot of this in brown, but I ran out. And I purchased what was left on the roll in orange, because really orange doesn't matter if I'm going to make it brown. So I think I'll probably need a piece about that long. Where are my scissors? I tidied up my desk and all my scissors are home to roost. And they almost don't fit in my caddy. Hi Mum from the other side of the flat. Okay. So I need to plan when I start gluing. Obviously this needs to be over the top. So some things can be underneath, and like that for example, and other things can be on top. So if you are going to use some sort of buckle system or closing system, you need to keep this in mind. So if I'm going to have my little knob there, I probably need this a little bit further down. It doesn't matter if your ribbon is not central. In fact, I prefer it. And I think, seeing as this looks like it's coming from some sort of pipeline, I'm going to see what I can create here with this along there. I know it's black on black and you guys can't really see what I'm doing. And let's have perhaps this coming from here, and a tap. Would a tap work? Why would there be a tap underwater? I have no idea. Why would there be pipes underwater? I have no idea. But maybe that looks quite interesting there. Or maybe I'll put that in between. There we go. That works. Also, I have from this set some handles and knobs and things. So some of them I poured a bit thick and it's quite solid, and others I poured so that's the same from the mold. I like that handle, so maybe I'll put that handle on top of that like that. That works. Okay, let's leave those there. So we have a pipeline going up and around, so that's a bit of a frame. Maybe I'll have the tap on the back. It just fits. That's perfect. Okay, I'll have a tap on the back. And then I don't need those. Pop those over there. And I have built this. It's out of chipboard. It is from Steampunk Parts. It's the Tim Holtz, one of the new Tim Holtz pieces. This could be quite nice somewhere, perhaps underneath him. I might have to pull some of these bumps off so that he sits flat. And put that there. Okay, what have I got in here? I have got a steam gauge. That would work perhaps quite well. Let's see, is it the same curve as my clock? It is. That works. And what does this say? Journey. These are all gears and locks, and another steam thing. What's this one? Art. I like that. These are mostly Christmas and clock hands. I'm just shopping my stash. Okay. Right. I'm gonna have art on the back because of course when it's on my shelf, that is on the back. So maybe I won't put this on the back because this is starting to get a bit too dimensional. Maybe I'll have a steam gauge on the front here. Okay. Right, I'm starting to like the look of this. Let's see what I've got in the scratch patch. I wonder if that on top of that is just overkill. Yep, that doesn't fit. Oh, here's little light bulbs. Maybe we could have some light bulbs. And I have a clock key. Maybe he could have a clock key. Maybe he could have a clock key there. Maybe that's too close. Okay, so maybe he's gonna have to move over. Am I muttering? Sorry, I need to talk up if you want to hear me, I suppose. And he can be having some light bulb moments. Does that add to him? I like that idea. Okay, so now I've got my construction sorted out. I'm going to dye my ribbon so that that can be drying while I'm busy with other things. So I'm going to pop this lot away. Actually, they can go in there for now. I love that sound. Ka-ching! Ka-pling! Right, let's get that out the way. Give myself a little bit more play space. And push this out the way. I'm going to use the Mixed Media Aqua Color in Leather by Stamperia to dye this. It's an acrylic paint, basically in a spray bottle. Mine no longer sprays, of course, because I didn't clean the nozzle. Good morning, Olga. So I'm gonna just use it straight out of here, and I'm gonna use my water bottle, which is now where? That's the problem with stacking things up. Everything gets hidden. I'm just gonna damp my ribbon so that it will take the color on, and I'm going to, how am I going to achieve this? I really don't want dirty fingers, so let's just stick some gloves on. Let's turn them the right way around. Auntie gloves. I've seen people in the shops wearing these. They wouldn't be too impressed if I went out with these ones, would they? They'd be a bit scared. Think I've caught something. Morning, Debbie. Oh, putting the glove on backwards won't help. It's just because I really want to mush this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to pour some of this along, and then I'm going to mush it up so that it picks up all the color. Because it's got an orange base, it's going to have a nice warm brown finish. And the reason for me spraying it with water was so that hopefully it would absorb all my color. And I'm just going to spray it with a little bit more water, just to help get the color everywhere. It's a bit like tie-dyeing in a funny kind of way. Right. I know it's all wrinkly crinkly, but I'm gonna straighten that all out. Run it through my fingers. And just straighten that out. So this ribbon came pre-done with these eyelets. You could take normal cotton binding and add your own eyelets. Just measure it and add them. This eyelet has got itself mixed up with its edging. Just want to sort that out. Come, behave. Oh well, it's the worn look anyway. Yeah, I would get an empty shop, wouldn't I, Olga? In fact, I've already been to the shops this morning. I went to Etiquette to go and get some soil to fill up some pot plants outside. So I'm trying to make it pretty out on the bedroom side of my flat. I'm in a ground floor flat. And so I'm just trying to make it nice for summer. I'm new to this European gardening thing. I was a big gardener back in South Africa and knew what I was doing most of the time. I had 17 years practice in my garden. Went from a desert to a pretty good tropical oasis. And yeah, first thing that happened here is I thought I'd killed all my plants, but it was just winter. And luckily I didn't throw away my topiary trees. I just stuck them in a corner, trimmed them back, stuck them in a corner in some hessian, and they've all sprouted. I thought they'd got waterlogged. Anyway, I'm just going to give this a quick dry. Or am I? No. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to switch on my big daylight bulb. And it gets really, really hot. And I'm just going to drape this around there. There we go. So that's going to be drying on my own little personal heater, because I hate the sound of these things online. Right, let's bring this back. Okay, so if I'm going to have that there, I need to gesso these guys quickly so they can also be drying. This I've already gessoed, and these guys I haven't gessoed. So let me just gesso these guys quickly and pop that on one side. So how did I have it? I had it like that, like that, like that, like that, like that, and somewhere there it is that guy. So that's what I need to gesso on those sides. These I need to gesso, these I need to gesso. So what is gesso? Gesso is a primer, and the clear primer is basically like a very, very fine textured paint, so that whatever you apply it to has tooth. And I'm trying to apply it as smooth as possible, because whatever I do on top, especially if I use the what are they called, metallic waxes, it will show my brush strokes. So I am intentionally making it nice and smooth. I could also intentionally make it quite rough. So it depends on your finished look that you're going for. This one's underneath, so I'm not too bothered about it, but I definitely wanted to pick up some color, so I'm gonna just make sure that that has a light coat. And this guy, oh, I need a little bit more. And so this is the preparation. This is the dull and boring part. And so that's done. This guy needs some. It's quite difficult to see if you've got it everywhere because the white on the white. So I'm just giving it a light brush. This guy's very shiny, so if you don't put anything on, the waxes struggle to stick. And we have the building dentist back again. I can't remember, I don't think I've done this one. Come back. Okay. So wiggling it into all those recesses and trying to get it on there. Pick up some of that. Maybe I'll have some. It dries really quickly if you put it on really thin. I don't mind those lumps and bumps on there because they're underwater things. So okay, let's put, I'm not using these guys. Well, I'm using, which one am I using? I think I'm using that. Oh, yeah, it's in my hand. Living in my own Bermuda Triangle of my own creation. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just going to wash my brush, pop my lid back on. Morning, Rod. Happy birthday for yesterday. Sounds like you had a lovely day even though you were in lockdown. Okay. Just dry my brush on some roller towel. Okay, and the other thing I wanted to look at using is I've got a whole lot of snip art stuff here. So while these are drying, I'm going to just have a look, see whether I haven't perhaps got some nice little fine stuff that I can add to the background. They've got these really cool MDF screws, nut heads, bolts. I might add those later. These amazing corners and then these straight bits. Here's some more pipes. These are left from my previous project, and I'll see if I can use them on the back. That's finished. Yeah, I think these would work quite well on here. Maybe in the middle of, no, big elephant me. Okay, maybe I'll just overlap that with that, and I can have that doing something. I like that idea. Okay, what else have I got? I've got some more cogs and gears. I've got this nice flat batch. Okay, while my brain thinks about that stash, I'm gonna start painting him. And he's gonna go on here. I think so that I can kind of get an idea. I'm gonna make this a coppery color. And I'm going to use, not the rose gold, I'm going to use rich copper, because I think it goes with the colors that I've got here. And I'm just going to use a nice soft brush. Get it on there, and working backwards and forwards, side to side, pick up some of this color. Oh, I love how this smells. These waxes just have the most gorgeous scent. Okay, so now I've got that on there. That works. And I'm going to pick up some of that on here, just so that I've got a visual link. I know the folder will be closed and nobody opens the folder out this way once it's got everything in it, but I want a visual link of some of the same colors on the front and the back. Okay, so that's now picked up some of that shimmer. Pop that back there. What did I have? I had 12 at the top. Not that it matters. Okay, let's see what happens. I wonder if I can use a gloved finger. I've never used a gloved finger before. Oh, look, that works. I'm gonna use the wax on my chipboards. You have to be really, this chipboard is so amazing. It is so detailed, but you can't be rough-handed with it because it will break. So you just have to be a little bit careful. It's a really nice way to color these up. And you can still see, I can still see, you probably can't, but these chippies have these pre-lasered little grooves, and I can still see them through this wax. It's quite a nice soft wax. It's funny working with gloves because I can't feel when my glove goes dry, but it's quite nice not to have filthy fingers. Because I noticed yesterday, after I'd finished doing the insides of my book cover, or journal thing, I videoed my pages, and even though I'd washed my hands, my fingers were so stained from the distress inks and the paints that, yeah. Anyway, true crafter's hands. Right, almost done with this. Then I'm going to do those because those are dry already. Okay, so I'm now actually picking up what has got into my craft sheet and reusing it. Okay, so these guys will work nicely on there. Perfect. Let's see what happens now. I think I might just use the brush for this. Great. So these guys are picking up the color nicely. And they will now stand out on that black. There we go. So even though this is a book cover, I'm still sticking to the same construction rules or layout rules or what else do you want to call them? When you set up a painting, I am still using my underlying structure of my horizontal and my verticals, using my pipes for that, because it helps to lead your eye around what's going on. Okay, that's going on my back cover. Hi Jennifer. I wonder if I just rubbed it in this, if it would pick it up. Let's see what happens. Ta-da! Ha ha ha. Of course, it's going to look completely different to all the others. Waste not, want not. Waste not, want not. That's why you work on a craft sheet, so that you don't waste anything. I quite like all the roughness that happens. Bring these guys back and do the same. Yeah, I like that. The what if game. Okay. That's done, that's done, that's done. So this guy was there, that guy was there, or something. Yes, that guy was there. I should, now normally if I'm working by myself, I would take a photograph of what I have done before I take it all apart. It just, you can refer to it, but of course, hello, my phone's up there where you guys are watching me from, so I can't do that. And pop that there. Now let's see what happens to this guy. So the cream is shining through. Not so sure I like that idea. Okay, let's go rusty crusty. We're gonna go rusty crusty on this, but first I want to, so this is the only, these two things are looking rather brassy. I'm gonna give them a good dose of this copper as well to make them link up. There we go, that looks better. And that's going to go there. Yes, it definitely looks better. But now with these guys and him, oh, putting the lid on the wrong guy. I'm gonna make him rusty, starting with my rust paste, and for this I need a stiff brush. And I always start with a sort of terracotta color Indian red oxide is another name for it if you're looking for the art term. Or it's also close to burnt sienna. So I'm putting this rust paste on. Now rust paste has, and my gloves are taking it off as fast as I'm putting it on, so let's try not to touch it too much. Rust paste has like a grit in it, so I'm trying to pick up some of that grit and leave it behind. What I'm also trying to do is see each side and make sure that I'm getting into all these little nooks and crannies. Okay, that's enough fiddling with that one for now. It must go off and dry. And I'm not sure what color I'm going to make him. And these guys were on the back. What about using some of the matte wax for these guys? It's really lovely and soft and gets into all those grooves and nooks and crannies really quickly and easily. I really do enjoy these matte waxes. They have a completely different look to the metallics and a very different feel when you're working with them. They are much softer. So you have to be careful not to overload your brush. So you can just see I'm being careful to get into all the grooves, because when you glue this on, your eye, because this was white to start with, your eye will always go to the lightest point. So this color that I'm using now is Rusty Red in Finnabair's matte waxes. And again, I'm just wiggling my brush backwards and forwards, just making sure that I'm getting into all these grooves. There we go. Okie dokie. And right, I think I will use the matte wax on this guy to start with. And again, there are lots of little grooves in there. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to get some of this on here. That's working well. Okay, that is going to go. Even though I gessoed this guy, he's still resisting stuff. You can see why I put the gloves on today, because this is a real messy process. I don't usually work with gloves, but today I don't feel like dirty hands. There we go, that's going up there. And okay, so now I want to make him I want to get the patina color going, because I want him to stand out from everything else that's going on here. And on screen this looks a lot greener than it is here. So I think what I'm going to do, I have a brown matte wax. I'm going to start off by getting the brown wax deep down into all his grooves and crevices, because the darker colors always help to give a sense of depth. And again, I'm lifting it up and I'm really working my color right into all the grooves, nooks and crannies. And I do find that with this guy especially, and Octoman as I call him, the clay doesn't always pick up as much of the detail as is really on these guys. There's amazing little tiny rivets and things in incredible detail which the resin definitely picks up. And I also find when I start working with my clay version, especially if it's not dry enough, it starts to disintegrate on me. Maybe I'm just a little bit rough. So I'm just making sure that I'm getting this color down into all the grooves. Excuse, that's not the building dentist, that is my husband making coffee. He's been in a meeting since 8 o'clock online. So he's obviously desperate for his next caffeine shot. I'm hoping that he doesn't forget about me. But depends on if he has to rush back for another meeting or not. So he's taken over our bedroom as his office so that he can close the door, because we have an open plan kitchen, lounge, dining room, and in fact my little studio where I'm sitting now with you. Oh, it's not me, the clay doesn't work well. Okay, so this guy on here is going to disappear as he is. And I'm now going to just take, oh, I've got my drawer in the way, sorry. Just take a wet wipe and I always like my shadow side on this side and my highlight side on that side. You guys are probably so sick of hearing me say this. And because I'm going to glue this on top of there, I want this colored in the same base color. And I'm just being patient and getting all my edges done. I find it easier to do this with the individual pieces than to glue it down and then try and do this, because then I'll mess on my background. And I don't want that. I've already done my background. It would be fine if I hadn't done my background, but I'm not doing it twice. Okay, so that's going in there. So these waxes will dry they will dry over quite quickly actually. So if you want to take it back to the original color, which I kind of do because I want to bring some of the highlights out, you can't leave it too long. I've almost left it too long. Which is fine. I want the worn look anyway. And I do find that these matte waxes are quite opaque, so you can usually get away with laying them over themselves, but I do find that they are brighter if they're on a lighter surface. I'm a poet. Okay, I'm going to close this for now because I don't want it drying out, and I'm going to pop that brush in the water. Okay, so I think I'm going to bring this delicious color on this side. Now hopefully my vigorous rubbing hasn't taken off my gesso, because we will have to see. Simon. Thanks, Simon. Yeah, message your friend. Tell him I need coffee. That's hysterical. Oh boy, I can hear them still talking in the room. So I think he's just escaped to make himself coffee. I don't think I'm getting in this queue. I can make myself coffee just now. I just love these waxes and the finish you can get with them. Looks like he's been under the sea aging for ages. Or like those copper roofs. Here in Berlin, there are a lot of domes and church steeple towers that have beautiful copper roofs. And they're just such an incredible color. When all this mess is over, Simon, if you're still in the house, you have to come and visit. As an architect, this place is going to do your head in. It's just amazing. I don't know how I haven't fallen on my face while walking places, because the problem is the buildings are so beautiful that I'm always looking up and not where I'm going, and the streets are cobbled. When I say streets, the sidewalks are cobbled. Okay, he's going to stand out quite nicely on there now. But then the problem is now he's a bit isolated, so I'm going to integrate some of these other things. With a little bit of the verdigris. Let's see if I just try and tickle the top. There we go. A little bit on there. A little bit on here. Actually, what if I get it all in these grooves? So I'm pushing it in to these grooves, and especially there. Okay, and then I take my finger and I wipe off the top. Maybe I need a wet wipe. Okay, I like that, but now I have lost my copper. Let's use my finger and see if I can put some of the copper back. Gently does it, gently does it. That looks better because now that links up. Okay, this is looking terribly, terribly different to everything else. So I'm going to nail, firstly just get rid of what's on there, and I'm going to pick up some of the copper. Oh, it looks gorgeous with the copper on it. Alcohol ink would also work on here. So if this rubs off with time, I'll alcohol ink it. Perhaps I need some coffee. Can't get my sentences out straight. Okay. Right. I think it's time to start putting this whole thing together. So if these are going to do this, then I need the color on the same side. Okay, and then of course I'm gonna have this on there. So I need to have a little bit of the verdigris on there, just so that it looks like it belongs to him, because things always have to look like they're made to go together. Okay, right, so we've got that sitting with that, and I need to actually rip off one of these, maybe even two of these, because no, one will work. Then he sits flat. That works. Love it when a plan comes together. Okay, now I'm going a bit mad with this verdigris, but I've decided everything needs a bit of aging with a bit of verdigris, and my brush has gone nice and revolting. And let's give some of these guys a little bit of this aging as well. So I have a lot of the same thought processes whether I'm working on a 3D mixed media thing or if I'm working on a canvas. It's all about linking up. It's about balance. It's about texture. It's about making sure that your lights and darks are all on the same side. Okay, so now these guys all need a little bit of verdigris. And what I can actually do, because verdigris doesn't really kind of care where it turns up on a project. I'm going to build some shadows into these with a little bit of the brown rust paint. Okay. That's this guy. I'm going to use some of this. And I need a nice small brush. And I'm using the straightness of my brush to just build some of these join lines, because the die is flat that I used, and it's easier to do this here than on there. So I'm just going to build these little visual, it's a small thing, but it all helps to build the visual picture. And I know it's just a folder cover, but it's worth it. Now my brush is starting to misbehave. Come, go back together. Nothing like some finger painting in there as well. Okay, last one. Now this one has a few guys. You need to run as you're also live. Okay, I have no idea what the time is. I'm doing my usual thing. I'm just yakking. Bye, my friend. I'll catch up with your live just now. Don't know about you guys, but I'm loving everybody's lives. You can hop in and out. You can watch the you can watch the recording later if you missed one. Olga's got All and Create stamps on her Chanda special yesterday and today. So if you want to get some good deals, you can buy through her Chanda. Her Chanda is a UK based TV program. There we go. So I like that. Okay, close up that one. Let's see how these guys are looking on here. Oh, they need some serious help. Right, let's get some other colors going in them. Oh, this guy didn't get any of the verdigris, but then he's underneath. I'm not going to see much of him. Okay, verdigris on this guy. Verdigris on this guy and a little bit of brown. Verdigris. Yeah, it's amazing. Just something so small, adding a little bit of shadowing makes them look like they're actually physically round. It's just a visual, it's a trick of the eye. The French have a term for when you do a painting on the wall and it looks like an arch with a view, trompe-l'œil. I don't know, I've never learned French, and there's all sorts of letters and things you do and don't pronounce. So, okay, let's just pop this away for now. I'm probably going to come back with some of this guy. I need to link my background with all of this. So my background at this stage is all a bit stark. So I'm just going to take everybody off. Hope I can remember what my plan was. Bring this back into view, and I'm going to take the rich copper, and I know my guy's going to be there trying to see if I've got too much on my finger, and I'm going to just try and I've got these guys coming on here, so I don't want to go there. I've already put too much on there, so let's just take some off. Because this is paint underneath, in theory I should be able to take it off. Oh yes, I'm taking everything right off. Okay, that was not the intention. Dry my fingers off. I love this. I said this on my live the other day. It's a bit like a kid when you did those magic drawings where you put color underneath black paint and then you scratch the black paint away to reveal the color. And so for me this is the same. Rubbing the waxes on picks up all the lovely texture that I had underneath the black. Oh good grief, I'm so over these guys drilling in the building. I hope that's the water guys, in which case they'll be finished soon, because the water guys are supposed to be fixing the water issue that's been going on. Hi Deborah. Okay, I'm going with this all the way around, and then I'm also going to bring in, to warm it up because I don't want everything to disappear, I'm going to bring in a bit of the gold, not the rose gold, I want Bronze Age, which to me is gold. Because I don't want my pipes disappearing too much. So you can combine your waxes. You don't have to stick to one color. So I'm just blending my waxes together just to make it a little bit more visually interesting. Okie dokie. Right. Morning, Nikki. Welcome to Berlin and my very noisy building. So now I just want to see what my structure is looking like. I'm gonna have these guys at the back over here, something like this. I had something like that going on, and I had these guys at the back, so that could perhaps hide that joint or something. And I had these guys up here. I had that on my back, on my spine, coming from this guy. I had this up here. I had this on that, in that. It's like fox on socks, in box on Knox, Mr. Zeus. Okay, and where's my big guy? Here he is. And he's gonna come here. I had him, he did fit. He did fit earlier, there we go. And of course I'm gonna have my knob. And I'm gonna have my steam. Maybe my steam should go here, because the steam fits. Does it fit above that? Yes, it does. I rather build layers than have things sit isolated. So maybe that's a little bit close now. Okay, and I was gonna have these guys popping out like he's having some light bulb moments. And then this thing that I pulled off here might be quite nice on there. And I've got a piece left over from the previous clock. Maybe I'll put that there. Where are the pipes from? They're from this die. It's Tim Holtz pipeline. I used craft foam. I happened to use black, and then I gessoed it so that it had texture, and then I colored it. Okay, so I'm kind of happy with how this is going for now. I feel like he needs a little bit more shine. So I'm gonna come now with my new Stamperia wax, which I know is very shiny, because look at that, it's just delicious. This one is called Metallic Pink. And I really just want to clip these highlights on this side. Because this is always my light source side. Especially as, hello, I've got light bulbs on that side too. Oh, good grief. Turn your sound off if you can't bear the noise. Just watch what I'm doing. Okay, so now I'm going to just give the highlight on this side. Oh, it's in stereo now. And of course these are light bulbs, so they need to be really nice and shiny. And then I'm trying to just, you know, when something is metallic and it catches the sun, it has just a stripe of shine. So everything's about building layers. So I've got layers on my cover, I've got layers of color, I've got textural layers. I'm gonna make this shiny on one side, I'm gonna make my key shiny on this side. There we go. Okay, so that's as far as I think I'm going to do. I have no idea how long I've been talking and showing you stuff. And I think I'll highlight these guys. But I think I'm going to stop there. I'll finish it off screen because I need to do some drop shadows and so on to make everything pop, but I'll do that on the it's 12:10, so I've been working for an hour. Thanks, Karen. I forgot to bring the ticking clock in from the kitchen. So yes, so that's pretty much as far as I'm going to get without gluing it. And then I'll do my drop shadows and things, and I'll post a finished picture. And as always, this will go to YouTube, so if you guys missed anything, so if you came in halfway, you can find it on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, either under Belinda Basson or under Acorn Crafts, which is my studio name. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Bye.